right, good morning everybody. We've got a project ahead of us today, some logs. The girls have been selling gobs of firewood, and we were running a little low on wood, so a friend of mine ended up doing some clearing, and another friend of mine was doing some hauling to help get rid of the wood, so it ended up here, and I'm very thankful for it. So over there we've got a couple different sorts, I guess. Over there is going to be the small firewood stuff that's straight enough to stack. Then over on the other side of the tractor is the something that could possibly be run through a sawmill. So some of it's a little bit small, some a little big, but we can make that decision later. So right here we have 13, 14, 15, and 16 on the truckloads. I've been working a little bit of it up here, getting it positioned. All right, so quick battery change there. Anyway, I was saying we got a little bit of this getting positioned into place, and end up with another machine here. I'll tell you about that someday. Anyway, this is stuff right here. Again, trying to put them in different sorts to be handy to work up. These are things that had a lot of, just really would mess a stack up pretty bad. And it's stuff we can just sit here and process pretty easy. This stuff here has age on it. Some of it is sound. Some of it, the outer parts are not sound, so we'll just split that outer mess off of it. But we'll work this mess up first. And then here's some of the stuff that was just a little bit too short in length to put in the regular stack. Some of it I was putting in there and then realized I need to stop doing that. So, but anyway, that's a little bit about what's going on here. And I really kind of got a little bit of a mess as far as where I've got to dump it and where it ends up. So I've got a little too much travel in all this to be perfectly efficient, but it's going to work for right now because there's probably this much more or so to go. And but it'll get us by, like I say, for right now. Eventually I'd like to put a pad over in here in this spot, get rid of these trees, and have a really nice big pad. We can get the sawmill and stuff placed over here. I'm really hoping to have that sawmill up and going by now, but it's been a crazy summer, so it is what it is. But the sawmill's still sitting over in the shed right over there, and I've got to get that thing a spot built for it and get the all assembled. But being also kind of waiting on getting 160 finished up, the excavator, to work the trees. So I got to introduce you to that machine too. But anyway, a lot going on here lately, and in the midst of the fair is still going on right now, and school's starting back, and it's been a lot of crazy lately. So but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set you up, let you watch a little bit of sorting through some of these logs and getting them placed, and hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the method that we've got going on here and why we're doing what we're doing. So it comes down to the old saying, it's all about the money, boys. You know, we've got in wood, we've got to figure out where it's going to plug into the most value. So what is our number one most valuable thing that we can produce? And that's a slab. So if it's great big wood, you remember those big maples, you can go back and check out some of the video there. Some of those are 8 feet wide. When you get to sawing those things have tremendous value. You can only get those out of a certain kind of tree. So that's gonna, again, every piece of wood that comes in gets plugged in to the most valuable spot it can be put in. So number one most valuable thing we can produce here is a slab. Second most valuable thing we can produce here is a saw log or a board. So we can take that, turn it into a board or a piece of timber, you know, big chunky stuff. There's lots of different things to be done there. Now you'll see some small stuff in there. You say, well, my goodness, that's not really gonna make much wood. Just because it's in this pile doesn't mean it has to be put in this pile or turned into what's going in that pile, like saw logs, or be turned into lumber. But it gives us the option really easy because this pile's pretty small, compact, and if we need you know, we end up way over there. You can see we need a saw log dug out of that pile. It's hard to tell what the end looks like. You know, there's some of those that the ends look really, really good. You think, oh, that'll make a good saw log. You dig out through 40 pieces of wood and find out the other end split and shook, and it's no good. So anything that we know for a fact will not make a saw log automatically goes in one of these other sorts. Anything that could possibly be a saw log, even though it's small, you know, some of these aren't real big, but there's still some wood in these guys. You know, you take this log right here, there's still quite a few little boards in that guy. So again, if we get down to it and we say, you know what, it's just not worth sawing that for what we need right now, it's going to go bad before we get to it, we can always pull that out and process it for firewood. But it's really hard to do it backwards. So that's kind of the other thing. Now, what's the next most valuable thing? Well, for us, it's bundle wood. The girls sell an enormous amount of bundle wood. So then we try to get everything set up okay. So we again, just to recap, we've got big slab stuff for the big wood, anything nice and straight and round that'll make a decent piece of lumber, we'll put it into a saw log. And lastly is broken down for its I guess fiber use, like we'd say, taken into a piece of firewood, or in this case bundle wood. Now you notice I said bundle wood and not firewood was the next thing, because bundle wood needs to be pretty knot free. So, and now all of that is getting sorted together, but bundle wood doesn't need to have any rot in it. It needs to not have a lot of crook in it, because it just doesn't make a pretty bundle. So we'll run through and we'll get the next highest quality stuff, and value bang for the buck is going to be the bundle wood stuff. And then the lowest quality will be firewood. And again, we have, you know, the girls have one customer that buys a lot of bundle wood, but he also has a pit, the community fire pit. So that is where some that has a goofy knot or something, we can just split it bigger and don't have to worry about trying to make that thing look beautiful in a little bundle and stack nice and neat and not put air gaps in the bundle. So I hope that maybe helps you understand why we are taking the time to sort through this stuff instead of just run it all through bundle wood or firewood and going with it. Because truly it's you know, I say it's all about the money, boys, but the thing is, if you're in business in this industry, you really, it's all about the little tiny things, you know. And in this case, those little tiny things, that little piece of wood right here with the busted up ends on it, you know, we got to figure out the best use for that. It can't make a slab, it can't make a board, but it'll make quite a few bundles right there. There's quite a few bundles in that. These knots aren't big enough to be a problem. We'll slip that off, trim up the end nice and neat, and you start counting 16-inch groups down through there. There's a good bit of value right there. So if we put these in the wrong place, like for instance that big red oak log, that makes beautiful firewood. It makes gorgeous firewood, but that's not the most valuable spot that red oak log can be put in. It'll be much more valuable in a board. So, and of course they all take labor, they all take work to turn them into that, but that's what we're here for. We want to take this raw material and turn it into the best possible product that we possibly can, to make the most value. So I hope that's helpful to you. And again, I want to talk too about how you see me working this. We had 4 truckloads of wood here, you can kind of see. Now I'm working all 4 of them at the same time. Again, in a hopes of being as efficient as I possibly can. I gave this one the priority because I couldn't quite sneak through there. It was put back a little bit too far to go back around to the firewood pile. I hope you can see it over there. So I needed to get that access back through there. So it had priority number 1. So whatever I could find to put with that, that's what I do. So again, I'm going to take a saw log. I usually try to get them by themselves so I can stack them nice and neat. So I'll get one at a time, set them. So the first, any saw log I come to, I jerk it out. Then I look for something short. I start looking for those other things that I can carry multiples of that are similar. So if I've got a piece of firewood here and no other piece of firewood, I'm not going to take that one next. I can get through, it's not a big deal. I'm going to take this saw log, that saw log, and that saw log, and when I take them, they'll fall down, and then they'll put firewood out front for me. So I'll work those down, get them stacked, then I'll be able to grab this piece of firewood, and then a piece of firewood that falls and take it over, put it in the firewood stack. Or one of these maybe pieces that's beyond use, but we've got a pile over there if we've got one that's just a little too bad. And again, I'm very thankful for this wood, and if I have to take a little bit of that stuff that's really not even useful, I just have to throw straight in the burn pile, I'm not going to fuss about it, because I'm getting a lot more wood that has much more value to it, and it's going to be very much appreciated to get it. I'm not going to fuss about it. You've heard the saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, a horse, you open his mouth, you can tell how old he is, how hard his life is, how many teeth he has left, all that thing. And the old saying was, if somebody's giving you the thing, don't fuss about it. Just say, wow, thank you, I'm very thankful to get it. And that's the attitude that we need to have in the wood business, because a lot of this product is waste for other folks. It's really in their way, they don't want it, it's trouble, and it's very time-consuming, expensive for them to get rid of. So if we can give them an alley to get rid of that wood, that makes it very easy for them, then it really helps us out a lot on the next stage of, we don't have to go out and cut the tree down, get it hauled in here and all that expensive stuff. So it's kind of one of those complementary relationships that really helpful. So again, I'm not going to fuss about that. I'm going to say, man, this is great, I'll deal with that, no problem. We'll shove it over in the pile to be dealt with later. So that's what I'll do. I'll run through and I'll get these pieces that make sense together. Again, in this case, giving this pile priority so we could open that access back up. And then we'll just kind of, again, look for things that work to make sure that we're not wasting time hauling one little piece around back and forth. Sometimes you have to, but eliminate that as much as possible. So anyway, hope that lets you think about, or lets you share what's going on in my simple brain today. So hopefully it's helpful, and we'll let you watch a little more wood. Another thing I forgot to mention a minute ago is this wood has a lot of dirt in it. It's because of the location of where the wood came from. They were putting a road in, and it's just not any good place to stack wood, so it kind of got in where the field was. And you see a lot of sandy dirt in it, which is not good for chainsaws and things like that. But you can see in that pile over there, what I'm doing, I'm stacking it not terribly tall, and that will work up last. The next wood that comes in will be coming off of more of a pad area, and it should be cleaner. Now, you can see some of this here is already starting to look a lot cleaner. That'll be, very much beneficial. The cleaner, the better, of course. But the dirty stuff, not going to sweat it, because we'll just keep working that clean right behind it, and that clean is what we'll process first. Not stacking it real thick so the rain can wash a lot of that dirt off of it as it sets over here over the next few months. So you can see me trying to roll these around a little bit, get all the heavy I can off of them, then we're stacking them so that the rain will work through them. one just not gonna make very good lumber. One side possibly good, but it's not very big on the firewood. Again, when you look at this piece of wood and analyze it, I see a really good set of bundle wood on the end, maybe even close to the second set. One in the third right there between the knots, and some down there, and then where the big knots are, the back side will even give decent bundle wood. And where the knot is, it'll either be thrown into the cookie bin for home boiler wood. I didn't mention that one earlier, the stuff that just doesn't work, or the ends, things like that. Those make pretty good boiler wood. Just sell them by the tote full. We've got several totes of those over there too. thing I really didn't mention a whole lot talking about in the thought process is the mess. So where this stuff's getting picked up, there's a lot of debris, a lot of dirt, a lot of rocks. So what I want to try to do is keep that all in one location. And that way it'll be easy to clean up, not make a huge, if we just keep dumping, this area has the area to cover about 8 dump trucks loads right here. And so if we'd not kept this in this area and stretch it out to 16, which is what's here currently, it'd be all the way over in here. We'd have the mess and debris, so that'd be real easy to clean up. And we want to kind of keep that clean so we're not beating the tires to death, and it's easier to grab just the log. You can see it ends up with nice clean log stacks when that stuff isn't in there. Another reason too that we're picking it up instead of just run it all out and just dumping and running is it takes an enormous amount of room to do that. You can see this is pretty compact, nice little neat area, and the other thing is it's off the ground. So really 2 big benefits. Well, in addition to being clean, is it's not on the ground getting all that moisture in it, which for saw log's not a problem. I like a moist saw log, but for the firewood stuff, we want that stuff to be start drying, and it's easy to get forks in there. Another good reason to have them up on those rails like that. But the room and being able to get this mess dealt with and just really makes a nice clean look, and huge benefit. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and another reason I'm trying to get this done today is supposed to rain tomorrow, and what I want to be able to do is get all this mess cleaned up before it kind of digs into the ground with all the rain. So I'm going to try to get all this cleaned up, and then we'll be ready for another week of logs to come in. So that's kind of again where we're at. We're just about to get this wrapped up, and just thought that might be hadn't really talked a lot about the process, so hopefully that's helpful for you, and we'll get these last few knocked out.